On episode 14 of Office Hours with Dr. Guy, I'm back.
Bring your questions to Office Hours with Dr. Guy.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Guy, founder of the dissertationmentor.com and author of the Dissertation Warrior, the ultimate guide to being the kind of person who finishes a doctoral dissertation or thesis. And it's so just amazing to be back with you here today. And so what I'd like to do is just immediately jump into questions. Oscar asks, where have you been? Hey Oscar, welcome to the show. Where have I been? Well, number one, my family, we moved to Portland, Oregon from Los Angeles. The culmination of a lifelong dream for me. My dad, when I was about 6 years old, moved us from like proper Los Angeles out to a far out suburb of Los Angeles. And I get emotional thinking about this because what he gave us like a country life. We were headed as a family towards a place where we were going to be disconnected from one another, where the busyness of just every day was just going to swallow us whole. And he moved us out, and we moved onto a small farm when I was about 6, and we got chickens, turkeys, goats, ponies, dogs, cats, parakeets. I mean, if you can imagine the animal, we had it. And what that gave to me was just this strong sense of being connected with the place that I was living. And not only that, but my dad gave me the gift of working at home for pretty much the majority of my life until I was about 12 years old. He was a computer programmer and he just worked inside of our house. And my dad was always just right down the hallway. I remember at 3:30 a.m. most mornings, I would wake up to the smell of cool menthol cigarettes, those cigarettes that come in those green packs. And it was just the constant reminder that he was always home. And I wanted to give that to my kids. So that's the first thing that, not the cigarette smell, but the country life. So we moved out here to Portland, Oregon for the country life. I left my teaching position of 12 years, and here we are. The second thing that I've been up to, and the biggest reason why you haven't seen me here on the show, is because I've been writing this book that is on sale today on Amazon.com, The Dissertation Warrior. It is my manifesto. It is my love letter to you, all of you people here that are trying to write a doctoral dissertation or thesis. And it's so overwhelming to me to be sitting here and be able to communicate what I would just say is my love letter, my everything that I could say to you within the last year is in this book. And I would just highly encourage you to take a look at it. And when just like you, when you're coming to the end of a project, sometimes all things tend to really focus. And that's where I've been in the last 6 months, is in an absolute state of focus as I've been getting my family up here to Portland, Oregon, and as I've been finishing this book for you. So that's where I've been. Talea asks, when I'm doing my literature review, what do I do if I can't find anything related to my research? Talea, welcome to the show. This is a very common question. First of all, if you can't find anything related to your research, that's the sheer sign that something is going wrong with the way that you're searching for literature. For example, if you were studying trauma-informed care practices of nurses, and you went to ProQuest, which happens to be my favorite database in the whole wide world, and if you typed in trauma-informed care nurses, and you're searching and you just get hundreds of thousands of articles potentially, and you just aren't finding anything that fit, it's much more likely that two options. Number one is that you're being too literal in what you're trying to search for. You're searching for something too specific, or option two is you're searching too broadly, because the middle way is the best way when it comes to literature review searches. So what do you do? Well, step one is you do great. First of all, you find a great database. You start there. And my recommendation for everyone that's watching this and hearing the sound of my voice, that great database is ProQuest. Now, if you're in the UK, if your school is not a subscriber to ProQuest, Ethos might be the database for you. But ProQuest for me, start with dissertations. Go to ProQuest, Dissertations, and Theses Global. Start there. Second thing you do is you start with search terms and you really narrow down your search terms. So in this case that we're talking about, trauma-informed care and nurses, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop nurses, quotation marks around nurses, inside of ProQuest. Now the reason I put quotations around nurses is just to simply illustrate the clarity, the precision of the search term. I only want nurses. I want to see how many things I get just with nurses. So if I type in just nurses, by the way, if I put quotations around nurses or not, it doesn't matter at this point, but you'll see where it makes sense in a second. If I search just nurses, I imagine I'm going to get somewhere like 500,000 dissertations, something like this. So I quote nurses, and I'm going to do and. I'm going to type in the word and, A-N-D. This is an advanced search, by the way, and I'm going to add in, with quotation marks around it, trauma-informed care. So I have quote nurses and quote trauma-informed care. And if I hit search, then my imagination says that I'm going to narrow significantly. I'm only going to get articles that say nurses and trauma-informed care as a whole word. My hope is, of course, that I'm going to narrow down significantly. 500,000 searches, results down to something like 50,000, 20,000. The ultimate would be less than 1,000 is what you get. Now, if something happens, if it says no search results found, we know where we went wrong. It was in that trauma-informed care. Maybe there's a hyphen that needs to go between trauma and informed. Maybe I need to get rid of the word care and just do trauma-informed and see what happens. If there is maybe a different word that I could use for trauma-informed care, that's what I could do. I could insert that word there. Let's say there was an additional level that you want to do. Let's say your dissertation is about nurses, about trauma-informed care, and training. And so I might put in the word as and training, and then in quotations, training. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the most broad and I'm narrowing down more and more specific. Now, in the case, the second option is that it's perhaps that you're being too specific in your search results. Let's say, for example, you were doing this study about nurses and trauma-informed care. It is possible that you can instead search for nurses and mandated training, because really that's what you're getting at, is how are nurses trained in a mandated way to deal with people who are engaged in, or people who need help with trauma. And so you might do nurses and trauma and mandated training. Just notice that by getting around this, what we're doing is we're looking for anything that's somewhat like this, somewhat like the study that you're doing. It's not so much that you're looking for exactly what your study is about. You're looking for things that are somewhat like that. Because ideally, what are you looking for? One is you're looking for, the results of other people's studies, and secondarily, you're looking for their recommendations for future research. They're going to back up your study and why you're doing your study. So my recommendation is start with these two strategies, use ProQuest, try out Dissertations and Theses Global to start, and then advance out into the larger databases. And I wish you luck. Email me the result.
Peter asks, what if I have no time for my dissertation?
Hi Peter, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking the time that you do have to watch this video and to get answers to this question. I think by far this is something that most of us can relate to, and the reality is that we give time to a load of things in our life, and my hope is that the majority of the time that we give are towards things that we believe matter to us. We go to work because we want to bless our family. We go to work because we want to bless the people that we serve. And yet, it's a very emotional topic for me. We often give those things that our highest version of ourself is calling for. We often give that part of ourself last pick. If today, God forbid, let's just say if someone had some sort of health scare today, a significant health scare, their entire world would come aligned up to fixing this health problem and making it right. The feeling of time is short would be immediately present for you. You would orient your entire life around making this right. I had a dear friend a little over a year ago go through, he's around my age, go through a cardiac event. This is a healthy guy. Everything in his life since that moment has aligned due to this event and has aligned with what are the greatest callings of my life, what are the greatest things in my life that I must accomplish. Time is short. Many people that are watching this have the belief that the Almighty, the creator of the universe, is calling you to finish this dissertation. Many of you that are here and watching this today have a belief that the creator of the universe, in fact, wants you to pursue a doctoral degree. So why then does this task often get the last spot in our schedules? If you told me that I was going to die a year from now, unless I woke up half an hour earlier every single day, just to give 15 minutes of my time to some sort of project, I chances are would do that. And likewise, for all of you here, most of you that are healthy and doing well, just think about it. There's so much little time we have in this life. Do you want to do this or not? And Peter, for me, as I'm hearing what you're going through, and I know a little bit about what you're going through, my greatest hope is that you will be able to take stock of everything that's going on in your life, everything that takes up your time, and you will decide what deserves the least of that, and you will rob that to put in place time for your dissertation. Find the thing in your life that is worth the least of your time and replace it with something that is deserving the most of your time. And I wish you luck, and let me know how it goes. Serena asks, how do I deal with family pressures? It takes a lot of time to write this thing. Serena, welcome to the show. You are part of a family. If you had the aspiration today of going out and getting a cheeseburger, I have no doubt the skies would open up and you would be able to get yourself a cheeseburger. I have no doubt that if you wanted to watch that episode of Game of Thrones late tonight after everyone had gone to sleep that you perhaps have missed, I have no doubt that time would manifest itself and you would be able to go and do that. And yet, for the things that are of a rare nature like exercising, like getting and being healthy, eating well and eating healthfully, doing a dissertation, climbing Mount Everest, or being an Olympic athlete. These are rare things that the vast majority of people are not doing. So when I go, for example, when I go to family parties and I talk about what it is that I do, what I often say is I'm a teacher. I teach full time. Because if I tell people, you might have this experience too, when people ask you, what are you studying? You might give them the basic answer. I'm studying teachers, I'm studying nurses and how they do their work and things like this. Most of the people in your life cannot relate to you doing the dissertation process and what it takes to do a dissertation. Now, in the terms of you and your family and your role with your family, that's where you as a caretaker, as a lover, as a person that is part and member of this family that you're cultivating, it's your responsibility to ease their pain, and help them understand a little bit about what you're going through and what you're doing. And this calls for the highest version of ourselves, because it takes the highest version of ourselves to begin with to even do this dissertation process, but it even takes a higher version to be able to help and steward others, to shepherd others as we go through this process. It's like, all the coursework you've done so far, everyone up until this point has understood something in common with you. They've had class, you've had class, you have class, and so they understand what you're going through because they've had class too. But the idea that you're out of class and you're writing some paper that's huge about something, that's difficult for them to understand. They have no idea what has to go into this process. And so my strongest hope and desire for you is that you can, with grace, with compassion, with mercy, communicate with them a little bit about what you're going through and ask them to trust you. Trust me, you might say. This will be over soon. I just need these things to happen in this way. I need to go into my office for 30 to 40 minutes every day and just work on this by myself. And I have no doubt that your family at least has the desire to give you that. And my greatest hope is they can follow through with that as well. Well, everyone, it's a pleasure being back with you here today. And I strongly and hope that you will check out my brand new book, The Dissertation Warrior. It's available on Amazon and all fine bookstores today. And it's so great to be back with you. Have a good one, guys.